Critical day in the 13th Congressional District, and is a critical day in America. In the district, in the 13th Congressional District, there are 300,000 people that rely on food stamps to put food on their table that will not receive benefits as of tomorrow. There's also 23,000 women and children in my district that rely on WIC. That's a special program for young moms. Hoy es un día crítico en el Distrito 13 y en los Estados Unidos, por razón de que el programa de SNAP, que son los cupones de alimentos, se va a frenar mañana. Y 300,000 personas en el Distrito 13 reciben cupones de alimentos, incluyendo hay 23,000 mujeres que reciben WIC en el distrito. De manera que hoy es un día clave. Today is a critical day. Because of that, we have been speaking to the governor's office to see how the state could help alleviate this crisis. Estamos hablando con la gobernadora para ver cómo el Estado puede intervenir y evitar esta crisis. Y estamos trabajando para ver qué monto de dinero el Estado pueda dar para condicionar este golpe fuerte del gobierno federal. We're looking to see what amount of money the governor could get to cushion the blow against this action. Now, Republicans are starving America. And right now, the administration has the authority to tap into more than $5 billion. La administración tiene el derecho y la autoridad de poder acceder más de $5,000 millones que tiene disponible ahora mismo para evitar esta crisis de cupones de alimentos. And they won't do it. No lo quieren hacer. No lo quieren hacer. Es más, lo que la administración quiere hacer es golpear a los recipientes de cupones de alimentos. Por encima de $186,000 millones de el recorte al programa SNAP, le quieren dar también este año un recorte de impuestos a los más ricos del país. This is all happening while the administration is trying to give the biggest tax cut to the very rich in America. And so this is a crisis of unprecedented proportion. This will impact an additional 240,000 people in New York City who risk losing their benefits. And of course, this program, the SNAP program, is so important to my district, but it's also this food pantry here is critical to feeding the people that I represent. And so this is the center where a lot of food goes out to needy people. They will be hurt by it. And so we're looking to see how local government, particularly the state, steps in and helps out. Nosotros estamos buscando una manera de ver cómo el Estado ayuda de una manera dramática, y este sitio que está aquí es un sitio que realmente ofrece un apoyo importante a los residentes del vecindario con referencia al programa de alimentos que ellos distribuyen a través del distrito. Así que para nosotros es un día que queremos ayudar, que estamos aquí escuchando en mi oficina y en otros sitios, escuchando realmente lo que tienen que decir muchos de nuestros constituyentes. We're here to listen to our constituents. People have been coming in to our office also complaining about the work requirement that's being placed on SNAP recipients. También hay un requisito de trabajo que se le está imponiendo a los recipientes de este programa de cupones y alimentos. Yo decía también que las bodegas y los supermercados que reciben un alto número de clientes que son recipientes de cupones de alimentos se van a ver afectados. Bodegas sometimes have 30, 40, even 50% of their revenue comes from food stamps. And so they're going to be impacted by this as well. And that's why we're here today. With that, let me introduce you to the CEO and Executive Director of the West Side Campaign Against Hunger, Greg Silverman.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome up here to our warehouse of the West Side Campaign Against Hunger. Thank you to Congressman Espaillat. Thank you for all the elected officials who've been reaching out, State Senator Jackson, and Mark Levine, and Carmen, and Manny, and many others who've been reaching out directly to our team and asking what they can do, how they can support, how they can advocate inside the halls of City Council, inside the halls of Albany and in Washington. I want to also thank the WSCA staff, who have just been incredible at pushing out more food to more people in more ways. This, right, we can say crisis, whatever way you want to call it. Like, I'm in emergency feeding. We've been at it for 46 years. Emergencies don't last 46 years, right? They last 46 days, maybe. Like, this is actually a real next level crisis that we've never seen before. The idea that we would lose SNAP for 43 million people across the country, $8 billion in the coming month that don't go out to people in need. This is an absolute crisis. We serve 110,000 New Yorkers in need across New York City. This warehouse pushes out almost, this year will probably be 6 million pounds of food. Over 50% is fresh produce. We buy the majority of that because our customers deserve the best product possible. People in need are gonna need more free food because they're not gonna have their SNAP and their fridges are gonna be empty. Like, we had the other day one of our benefits enrollers, because our team, we sign people up for benefits when those benefits exist, right? Like, that's what we try to do, to have a safety net. They were talking to a customer, letting them know about these impending SNAP cuts or the lack of SNAP checks going out, and the person said, so what? Am I just not supposed to eat next month? Like, that's the reality of this. Like, what are people gonna do? They're gonna come to pantries? All the pantries in all the cities and all the states across all of America cannot do a tenth of the amount of work that SNAP does. We will never fill in that gap. We can't. And we shouldn't, because it's a public issue. People need to be fed. Kids need to go to school nourished. Seniors, people on medication, right, need to be able to have the right food to take their medications with. Veterans need to come back from what they've done to support our country and have nourishment they need. For us, it's a really tragic time, but we're lucky we don't do this work alone, right? The West Side Campaign Against Hunger, with 8 other frontline organizations, created a thing called the Roundtable. And Judy from New York County Pantries here, and our friends at City Meals, and Met Council and others, we share all of our resources so we get better product, so we can serve more people. And we advocate together because the systems of feeding people, guess what? They were broken before the government shut down. The systems for feeding New Yorkers and Americans in general, and anyone living inside our cities, has been broken. The idea that you have to show up at a pantry as the only mechanism to get food, we have lots of ways to get people food. Bring it to people in their community. Send it to their home, to their doors, whatever they need, especially when they have fears of immigration issues and these kind of concerns. We have to be innovative and creative, and we're going to have to be asking for more support from more people. We need more people to come and volunteer each and every day at all of our locations to help pack food, to give more food to people. We're committing to giving 50% more food to every single customer we're serving, because we know it won't make up the full gap of SNAP, but it can help somewhat. So we're all going to have to dig deep in the days and weeks and months ahead, because as the Congressman said, right, you get past the government shutdown and you start talking about the real cuts to SNAP that are coming from the HR 1 bill. And so this is a long-standing effort. We appreciate everyone being here. We appreciate all the collaboration, and we're going to be in it throughout the process, and we're not going to be giving up. So thank you so much. I'll turn it over to Councilmember Carmen.
Thank you. I want to thank the Congressman for convening us in such a critical moment. Thank you, Congressman, for being our champion in Washington and here in Washington Heights and in our community. And Greg and the staff at WISCA, without you, there's no dignity for people who are coming in every single day, hungry, looking for that help and that assistance, but also that warm handoff for their families. This is a moment where families in our communities are looking, are traversing multiple crises together. Just yesterday, flash flooding cost us the life of a constituent, a worker in our district who was killed during the storm. As we send condolences out to his family, we also recognize that this is a community that is dealing with poverty at a level that they will feel the impact first under these cuts. This is a community that's dealing with the climate crisis, the housing crisis, the affordability crisis that is crushing our city in this moment. And these cuts from this administration will make the lives of New Yorkers and will make the lives of our constituents even harder. It is criminal to hear 300,000 people in the Congressional District 13 will lose their food stamps tomorrow. We all have seen the lines around the corner anytime a pantry is operating in our district. But we also, the elected officials, get the lines out the door for people recertifying for their SNAP benefits because it is a lifeline. To hear that 23,000 women and children will go without formula. I mean, I was having this conversation, but it's the stuff of dictators. You starve communities and then you disappear them. And this should be an alarm that we are all ringing. It is also a moment for us to come together and advocate at each level of government, from the governor's office to city council, to make sure that our pantries are fortified because they are at the front lines of feeding communities. But we know, and Greg and I were talking about this, that this gap is impossible to fill. And so we're gonna have to stand up strong and stand together and continue to support the congressman and the work he's doing in Washington to make sure that our communities get this benefit back. The federal government has a responsibility because they've already allocated this money. And so the courts also have to help us in that process of making sure that we get the justice that we need for families. Brevemente en español, le quiero dar las gracias a nuestro congresista Adriano Espaillat por su liderazgo, por convocarnos hoy, por sonar la alarma a una crisis que nuestras comunidades están enfrentando en este momento, y también a Greg Silverman y a su equipo aquí también en WISCA, porque le dan dignidad a nuestra comunidad. La realidad es que nuestra comunidad está en crisis ahora mismo. Podemos hablar de la crisis de la vivienda, de la crisis de la asequibilidad, podemos hablar hasta de la crisis climática, que ayer vimos que un constituyente de nosotros, un trabajador, un súper, murió durante lo que pasó las lluvias fuertes que llegaron a nuestra comunidad. Entonces, esta comunidad va a ser una comunidad que va a sentir el impacto de este recorte porque es una comunidad trabajadora. Y nosotros en este momento tenemos que estar alarmados que 154,000 niños de la escuela pública viven en albergues durante el día. Significa que nuestras comunidades van a sentir este recorte más que otras. Es importante nosotros llamar esto lo que es. Es una injusticia y es criminal que 300,000 personas en este distrito van a perder su acceso a los cupones de alimentos y que 23,000 mujeres y niños no van a tener el acceso al beneficio para comprar leches para sus niños. Así que nosotros vamos a estar juntos trabajando para asegurar que desde el gobierno federal y las cortes hasta el Consejo Municipal y el Estado hagamos todo lo posible para que el dinero entre a lugares como este que van a estar en la primera fila de pelear en contra de estos ataques que vienen de Washington. So, thank you, Congressman, for your leadership once again.
Thank you, Carmen. Let's hear from our State Senator, Robert Jackson.
Well, first, let me thank you for bringing us all together. You've heard the saying, in unity there is strength, and that's what we need right now. So I'm glad to see all of the elected representatives that represent part of your area here, fortunate enough to be here today in order to comment on this. I was reading some of the pressers last night, and it said that what it would cost for 1 month, $700 million to cover SNAP. The bottom line is that there is the state pension fund has $29 billion in it. And so we need to be able to tap into that and ask our leader in the state of New York, Kathy Hochul, to understand how important this is. And if anyone doesn't know how important it is, let's do with food without a couple of days, and they will see how important this is. In fact, I was saying to myself yesterday when Carmen and I and Manny went to a teacher center right around the corner from here. So, and I walked from my home on Fort Washington Avenue, and I'm on Broadway. There's a line, people with umbrellas, and it was raining outside, and it went all the way around the corner. And that was yesterday. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, these people are in need, and we need to fulfill that. And so as an obligation, in order to work hard, we need to communicate how important it is to those that have the power to make the changes. And obviously, one of the things that we must do is communicate with our governor. Another thing we must do is, if in fact you believe in the political process, knowing that, for example, there's a trifecta in the government. You have the House of Representatives, you have the U.S. Senate, and you have the President's office. We need to work hard in order to make the changes that are necessary in order to have a system where you cannot block it like it's being done right now. With that, I say thank you for bringing us down. Thank you, my colleagues, and thank all of you who work every single day to help provide the food for the people that need it the most. Thank you.
And now we're going to hear from our board president, Mark Levy.
Thank you, Congressmember. We are here in the midst of a true crisis, what Greg called a next level crisis. A crisis entirely created by Donald Trump and his allies in Congress, who, let's remember, before this moment, cut funding for food assistance, for medical care, for housing assistance, for public health programming, for one reason: to give tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires. This is the values of the people who are running the federal government right now. And on top of that outrage, they have plunged the country into crisis, refusing to sit down and negotiate with Democrats in Congress, as every other administration faced with the shutdown has done throughout history. Democrats making a very simple, powerful, necessary demand to reverse some of the cuts to health care that are so critical. And because of that refusal, we are now on the brink of something that would deliver real pain to 1.8 million families in New York City. 1.8 million families in the 5 boroughs who depend on food stamps. Well over 500,000 of them are children. And to Republicans who demonize this program, this is not extravagant. We're talking on average $7 of food assistance per day per person. I'd like to see some of those Republicans demonizing SNAP live on $7 a day for food. But this is critical for families who don't know where their next meal is coming. And we are staring down this crisis, which will begin to unfold tomorrow, could ultimately impact WIC. This will be truly harming vulnerable people in New York City and around the state and country. So we are here demanding that the federal government reopen, that Donald Trump and his sycophants in Congress sit down and finally come to an agreement to get this money moving again. We're going to work with our partners in the city and state government so they do everything possible to close the gap in the interim. We are praying that the judge hearing the case today comes to the conclusion that they need to release the emergency money that's available, the contingency money that would at least give us a few more weeks to fund this program. And we're asking the public to help too, because these food banks like Wisca, Common Table, Common Pantry, they are providing a lifeline now, and they're about to be overwhelmed. All the lines you've heard my colleagues describe on a regular weekday of people in New York who need food assistance, those lines are about to get impossibly long. We're going to have a crisis overwhelming food pantries all over New York City if SNAP is canceled, And we need New Yorkers to step up, to come into facilities like this, to help pack food, distribute food, contribute money if you can. It's not a substitute for what the federal government can do, but it's critical now. So reach out to your local food pantry, go online and find a way to get involved. We need you now. We need all of New York City rallying ahead of this crisis. Brevemente en español, lo que estamos enfrentando hoy día, de aquí a mañana sábado, es una crisis en la cual 1,8 millones de familias en Nueva York van a perder sus cupones de alimento, lo cual es algo esencial para esas familias para poder pagar por su comida. Estamos exigiendo de Trump y sus aliados que vengan a negociar y por fin reabrir el gobierno federal para poder pagar por SNAP y que mientras tanto el público venga a ayudar acá, aquí en Huesca y en otros locales donde tanto se depende de voluntarios. Así que todo el mundo hay que hacer algo hoy día para resolver esta crisis. Thank you very much.
We're going to hear now from Assemblymember Manny de los Santos.
Good morning. Thank you, Congressman, for your leadership and my colleagues in government and our great partner, West Side Campaign Against Hunger and Common Pension. It is important to highlight that this government shutdown is an attack on working families, not just immigrants, on working families, on our children, on our elderly adults. But we are also here today to send a message, not just to the state, but to this district and every other district, that working class families are not alone, that our elder alone, they have company, that our working class family will be protected, that we will fight for them, that this is just the beginning, that we will not tolerate this type of attack on our working class family. Not just immigrants, our working class family. This is why we're gathering here with our great partner, the West Side Campaign Against Hunger and Common Pension, who has been doing the work for many, many years and has ensured that no families in our districts have to face hunger alone. But let's be serious. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, best known as SNAP benefit, is not just a government program. It's not just a name. It's more than just that. It's the backbone of our community, of our working class family. So we're here fighting for their dignity. We're here screaming for respect, for every single family to be respected, to be acknowledged, to be given what they deserve. This is a lifeline benefit. And we will not give up until we accomplish what they expect for us to accomplish for them. This is just the beginning of a long fight. This is just the beginning of what we expect it to be a victory fight. Let me just share a quick story. Not a coincidence, but yesterday, as I'm walking down Post Avenue, I bumped into a man in his mid-70s that stood up when he saw me. And he said to me, "Please don't give up on us." And I said to him, "We will not." And as I stand there, I'm reflecting that he's not just alluding to the SNAP benefit. He's also thinking about Medicare and Medicaid. In this congressional district alone, 91,000 folks were enrolled in the Essential Program. Out of those 91,000, 11,000 in the Congressman Congressional District will lose or will go unsure. They will not be enrolled in their health insurance. So not only Medicaid, Medicare, and now the SNAP benefits. This is unprecedented. And we can only fight this fight together. Together. And we will know who are our true friends in this fight. Who are with us and who will stick with us to the finish line. And he stood there, going back to the man, he stood there. And you know what he did? He broke down in tears. And he said, fight for us. My eyes became watery because it's the human pressure mounting up of a sad reality. Y ahora en español. Quiero aprovechar esta oportunidad para agradecer al congresista Adriano Espaillat por su liderazgo, a mi colega en gobierno y también a Westside Campaign Against Hunger, Common Pantry, que han sido líderes en asegurar que ninguna familia tenga que enfrentar el hambre solo. Pero hoy se trata también de asegurar que ninguna familia en esta comunidad tenga que enfrentar este cierre de gobierno solo y que ellos se sientan protegidos por nosotros y por esas instituciones, porque nuestra dignidad está por encima de todo esto y por eso estamos aquí hoy unidos, unificados como comunidad, para asegurar que nuestras familias estén protegidas y reciban lo que ellos necesitan. Y déjeme decirle algo, este cierre federal no es un cierre federal en contra de las comunidades inmigrantes, es en contra de cada familia neoyorquina que reside en esta comunidad. Es en contra de nuestras personas adultas, nuestros niños, nuestra clase trabajadora. Es en contra de cada uno de ellos. Y nosotros tenemos la responsabilidad y la obligación de protegerlos a ellos. Porque de eso se trata. Esos números, esas cifras, no son solo números, cifras. El programa de beneficio de cupones tampoco es simplemente un nombre. No es simplemente un programa federal. Es más que eso. Es la columna vertebral de nuestra comunidad, de nuestros familiares que dependen de esos beneficios. Y nosotros tenemos la obligación de asegurar que cada uno de esos programas sean protegidos. Es parte del sueño americano. Ayer precisamente me encontré con un señor en la avenida de Post, entre los 70 años, que se acercó a mí cuando me identificó y me dijo que luche por él y por la comunidad. Yo le dije, ese es el objetivo de nosotros, luchar por ustedes. Y él se quedó en la esquina y no se movió. Yo, conmovido, fui hacia él, le di un abrazo. Pero yo después pensé que él estaba reflexionando no solo en los recortes de los cupones de alimentos, pero también en los recortes médicos, del Medicare y del Medicaid. O sea, que se están sumando. Y mientras lo veo en la esquina, me acerco donde él, le doy un abrazo. Y él rompe en llanto y comienza a gritar. Y luego me repite de nuevo que luche por él, que no lo deje solo. Hoy es un reflejo de eso, de que mis colegas y las instituciones que están presentes hoy, vamos a seguir ese llamado, de seguir luchando por cada comunidad que se siente sola, porque nadie debería sentirse sola en esta comunidad. Gracias a todos ustedes por hacer presencia y recuerden que en la unidad está la fuerza. Juntos somos más.
Ahora vamos a escuchar de una persona que es recipiente de los cupones. We're going to listen to a SNAP recipient, Martina Santos. Martina.
Buenos días a todos. Buenos días, Adriano Espaillat, Marlene de los Santos, Carmen de la Rosa y el reverendo y mi jefe aquí, Greg Silverman. Hoy en día estoy aquí porque soy recipiente de SNAP. Estoy viviendo esta pesadilla, que es una pesadilla. No es un sueño, es una pesadilla en la realidad. Mi cabeza no duermo. Tengo días que duermo 3, 4 horas pensando en este recorte. ¿Cómo me voy a hacer? ¿Cómo voy a pagar mi renta? ¿Cómo voy a pagar mi electricidad? ¿Cómo voy a comer? Porque esto es lo que estoy viviendo hoy día. Me está trayendo problemas con mi salud. Soy diabética y tengo presión alta. Tengo la cabeza mala de cómo voy a coger comida que no me lleven a parar a un hospital. También quiero decirle que muchas personas me paran en la calle para preguntarme cómo nos vamos a hacer con esto. Le digo, no se preocupen, no están solos. Tienen a Westside Campaign Against Hunger, tienen también a Canon Pantry, tienen más pantry que están trabajando las 24 horas del día para poderle llevar comida con dignidad a su mesa. Porque cada ser humano necesita su dignidad y nos la están pisoteando. Este gobierno nos está pisoteando a todos. Fue como dijo aquí Manny Santo, no solamente también es el Estado, también yo tengo Medicaid, tengo Medicare. También estoy viendo esa pesadilla, la estoy viviendo con mi medicina cuando voy a un doctor. Y quiero decirle que Greg, la señora aquí que es de Canon Pantry, se me olvidó tu nombre, discúlpame, están trabajando alrededor de la mesa. Eso es a round table. Porque no solamente la comunidad de Manhattan, son los 5 boroughs de aquí de Nueva York que están sufriendo, que estamos gritando. Los pantry, usted va a un pantry esta semana y la otra semana tienen el doble. ¿Cómo se van a hacer? El hueco se está abriendo day by day. Y la preocupación que tenemos es, ¿cómo lo vamos a hacer si los pantries cierran? Va a haber muchas crisis, van a perder empleo, los supermercados, las bodegas de aquí de Nueva York. Tenemos que seguir luchando. Esto no se acaba hasta que se acaba. Y quiero decirle que en la unión, como dijo Manny, está la fuerza. Vamos a seguir gritando. Vamos a ir donde tengamos que ir. Porque el hambre no reconoce de partidos políticos. ¿Ok? El hambre no sabe decirle a un niño, no, tú eres demócrata, tú no vas a comer lo que el republicano está comiendo. Hambre es hambre y punto. Lo que le quiero decir es, en inglés ahora, I'm Martina Santo and I'm a SNAP recipient. I'm a nightmare right now. I'm nervous, I'm anxious, my head is crazy. Any person in the 5 boroughs deserving to receive a food with dignity. This is a crisis. Everybody is screaming. And I'm going to tell you something and I forgot to tell you. This morning, I went to the site distribution in 86 because this is the warehouse. The guy approached me with a van. He said, I get out from the hospital. I went to my house and grabbed my car because tomorrow I do not have any SNAP. And I tell the guy, what are we going to do, miss? I said, don't feel alone. We're here fighting for you. We're here to give you the dignity. The government, they don't give it to you. We give you the dignity to you. We give you dignity food to you put in the table. Okay? And that's what happened right now. This crime, they drive me crazy. I got 4 kids. I don't want to be dependent. Everybody, all my kids, they have a bill to pay. So, what I do is try to take it day by day, one day at a time. Because if I take everything is in my mind, I'm going to be in the psychiatric institution. The only thing we need to do is day by day. We have it here, Adriano Espaillat, Manny de los Santos, my friend here, Mark Levin, the president of Manhattan, fighting for us. Community, alguien de la comunidad venga a servir de voluntario. Si hay donadores, un dólar hace la diferencia. Vengan aquí, ayúdennos. El que no pueda donar